discounts, boy.
A family where
Chain Gang. Written by Kennedy Brown. EmmaParaLeeInc, where the streets tell their own truth. Meet the characters. Lorraine Wilson. She left her babies, her bills, and her good sense in Greer, and came back expecting a parade. Lorraine Wilson is a woman in her late 50s with the audacity of a 25-year-old influencer, and the accountability of a house cat. For 10 years she traded South Carolina for New York City, following a musician boyfriend who, as it turns out, was less interested in being with Lorraine and more interested in being her. When the man sat Lorraine down and broke the news, she suddenly understood every single thing that had confused her about their relationship. He handed her $2,000, she took every dime, called Nelsha from the airport, and performed a one-woman show of screaming, fainting, and crying so convincing that Nelsha cash apped her enough for a first-class one-way ticket home. Lorraine flew coach, pocketed the $800 difference, stepped off the plane in Greer looking like a whole vision, new lace front, new shoes, new attitude. She told herself she was done with foolish men. She lasted until she got an iPad. Lorraine is glamorous, infuriating, and somewhere underneath all of it, a woman who knows she missed something she can never get back. She loves her children fiercely in the way only someone carrying guilt can, loudly, lavishly, and slightly too late. I didn't abandon my children. I was finding myself. It just took a whole decade. Nelsha, the sister who stayed. She raised your kids, buried her husband, and kept the lights on. She is done. Nelsha is Lorraine's younger sister, and the quiet backbone of this entire story. When Lorraine left for New York, Nelsha and her late husband stepped up and became legal guardians to Jirowi and Tootsie. Then her husband died, and Nelsha kept right on going, raising 2 children, holding down a household, and shelving her own life for 10 solid years. Nelsha is warm, capable, sharp as a tack, and thoroughly exhausted. She loves her sister the way you love someone who keeps letting you down, with conditions, with memory, and with a door that absolutely locks from the inside. When Lorraine drags a newly paroled man into Nelsha's house without asking, Nelsha puts both of them out without a single second of hesitation. That she eventually lets Lorraine back in is not weakness. It is the particular kind of love that no longer has the energy to stay angry. I didn't sign up to be anybody's everything, but here I am. Still here. Jirowi, Lorraine's son. He got a job, cooked breakfast, and gave his mama an iPad. Bless his heart. Jirowi is a teenage boy who grew up under Nelsha's roof, and somehow turned into exactly the kind of young man who wakes up before everyone else to make a big breakfast. He works a part-time job. He saves his money. He bought his mother an iPad for her birthday with his own earnings, stood there while she cried happy tears, and had absolutely no idea that he had just handed a loaded weapon to a woman with poor decision-making and a lot of idle time. Jirowi carries no visible bitterness about his mother's long absence. He is steady, generous, and the quiet heart of this family. Whether that steadiness is healing or armor, time alone will reveal. Happy birthday, Ma. I got this for you myself. Tootsie, Lorraine's daughter. She's 13, she's a genius, and she accidentally started World War III by helping Mama get on the internet. Tootsie is 13 years old, sharp as a whip, and a certified wizard on any device with a screen. She set up her mother's social media accounts with the cheerful efficiency of a child who simply wanted to be helpful. She had no way of knowing that handing Lorraine access to the internet was equivalent to giving a toddler a match near a gas stove. Tootsie is the kind of girl who holds the room together without realizing that's what she does, and she will one day understand that her mother's chaos is not her responsibility to manage. Mama, you just press the button. It's not that deep. Johnny Walker Richards, The Chain. Paroled, divorced, broke, and already running the exact same game on a brand new mark. Johnny Walker Richards is a small-time street pharmacist with a maximum-sized ego and a conscience the size of a raisin. He is freshly divorced from Frankie, his long-suffering wife who not only survived his years of infidelity, but legally adopted the 3 children he fathered with his side chick during their marriage. Frankie kept those babies, because Frankie is built different. Johnny, meanwhile, is on EmmaParaLeeInc accepting friend requests. Johnny has a gift. He makes women feel chosen, seen, and special, right up until their bank account hits zero. He sweet-talked a prison guard into forging Lorraine's signature, so he could list Nelsha's house as his approved parole address without asking Nelsha. He moved into a room that wasn't Lorraine's, spent down her $4,000, violated his parole twice, and then eased right back to Ticey the moment the funds dried up. Johnny is not complicated. He is simply a man who has learned that some women will finance a man's comfort in exchange for the feeling of being needed. He exploits that with breathtaking efficiency. I've been locked up, not dead. You knew what this was from the jump. Why, the permanent side chick. She dumped her kids on his wife, waited years for a title, and still answered the phone when he called. Ticey has been riding for Johnny longer than Frankie was ever married to him, and she still has not received so much as a title. She offloaded her children onto Johnny's wife during their affair, and Frankie, in an act of grace that defies all logic, kept and adopted every single one of those children. When Johnny's funds run out at the Suber Extendistay, he goes straight back to Ticey. She does not ask where he's been. She does not ask who he was with. She simply makes room. That tells you everything about Ticey that you need to know. I don't need a ring. I just need him to come home. Frankie, the ex-wife who won by losing. She took the outside kids, closed the chapter, and kept her peace. God said, "You're welcome." Frankie is Johnny's ex-wife, and she is referenced here primarily so you understand the full weight of what one woman endured. Years of marriage, years of affairs, a husband who fathered 3 children with another woman, and Frankie, when it was all said and done, adopted every single one of those children. Not because she had to, because those babies did not ask to be born into foolishness, and Frankie knew it. Frankie is not a supporting character. She is a measuring stick. Everything Johnny does to Lorraine, he already did to Frankie first. The difference is Frankie eventually got free. Those babies didn't ask for any of this. That part was never their fault. The Ratchet Hood synopsis. As told from the streets of Greer, South Carolina. Chilly, let me tell you about Lorraine Wilson. This woman left her 2 babies in Greer, South Carolina, packed her good wigs, her nerve, and absolutely nothing resembling a plan, and followed a man with a guitar to New York City talking about she was in love. 10 years, baby. 10 whole years. And the whole time, that man was not thinking about sleeping with Lorraine because he was too busy thinking about being Lorraine. When he sat her down and said, "I'm in love with a man, and honestly I think I want to be with one," Lorraine's brain ran a full PowerPoint presentation of every single moment she thought he was just being respectful. He handed her $2,000 for a flight home. She said, "Thank you, Jesus." But did Lorraine take that humble flight home and walk in the door with some humility? Absolutely not. She called her sister Nelsha from the airport, commenced to fainting, screaming, and crying like she'd been personally wronged by the laws of nature. And Nelsha, sweet devoted Nelsha who had been raising Lorraine's children for a decade and still had a good heart, cash-apped enough money for first class because Lorraine said it was a one-way ticket and she deserved dignity. Lorraine flew coach, pocketed $800, and strutted back into Greer, South Carolina looking like a brand new woman. New lace front, new shoes, zero accountability. She was back. Now let's talk about Nelsha. This woman had been raising Lorraine's children since Lorraine left. Her husband died and she kept going. Not one complaint. Not one call to New York saying, "Come home, these are your kids." Just Nelsha showing up every single day for children that were not hers by biology but were absolutely hers by love. Nelsha deserved a cruise, a cash settlement, and about 47 thank you cards. Instead she got Lorraine moving in. Now here comes the Lord's little joke. Lorraine's daughter Tootsie, brilliant, sweet 13-year-old Tootsie, helped her mama set up her social media pages because Lorraine hadn't been online in so long she didn't know which button to press. And Lorraine's son Jiroe, who woke up early and cooked a full breakfast, sang happy birthday and gifted his mama an iPad he bought with his own part-time job money. While Nelsha came around the corner dangling keys to a brand new 2026 Honda Accord. It was a whole moment. People were crying. It was genuinely beautiful. And then Lorraine got on that iPad, went to EmmaParaLeeInc, searched inmates in the greater Greer area, and found Johnny Walker Richards staring back at her like the devil sending a friend request. Now, Johnny Walker Richards is, and I need you to hear every word, a small-time drug dealer who was in jail, newly divorced from a woman named Frankie who adopted the 3 children he had with his side chick while they were married. Let that fully marinate. Frankie kept those babies. 'Cause Frankie has a soul. Anyway, Johnny accepted Lorraine's friend request and immediately started running game through the prison Wi-Fi, like it was a full-time remote job with benefits. Lorraine thought she had found love. What she had found was a manipulation operation so smooth it had its own org chart. Johnny got a female guard to forge Lorraine's signature on his parole paperwork, meaning he listed Nelsha's house as his approved parole residence without telling Nelsha. The parole board stamped it approved. Nelsha said, "Absolutely the hell not." And when Johnny showed up on her porch with his duffel bag and a smile, Nelsha put him and Lorraine out on the sidewalk. No speech. No debate. Just out. Lucky for Lorraine, she had managed to save $4,000 in secret. She got a room at the Super Extendistay. Johnny moved his whole self in, contributed $0 to anything, ate well, slept well, and ran his mouth all over Greer. Then one day Lorraine looked at her bank app and heard the Holy Spirit say, "Baby, it's almost gone." And just like that, Johnny was gone too. Slid right back to Ticey, his permanent ride-or-die side chick who has been waiting on a ring since the Obama administration and still picked up on the first ring. She didn't even ask where he'd been. That's a different kind of dedicated. But the Lord is not without humor. Johnny violated his parole. Twice. And his behind went right back to jail, which is exactly where it belongs. And as fate would have it, there are plenty of women scrolling InmateFriendly.com with a brand new iPad, a savings account, and a desperate need to feel chosen. Women who will pay top dollar to keep a man, even a man who is locked up, still manipulating and only calling collect. Hint. Lorraine. Lorraine didn't lose a man. She paid tuition. The question is whether she'll graduate. Chain Gang Kennedy Brown EmmaParaLeeInc, where the streets tell their own truth.
This counts, boy.